It's September 2nd, Wednesday at 966 North Pennsylvania,
No, 960.
960 North Pennsylvania Avenue
Yes.
and street, and then there's unit number 15.
Correct.
Jarvis and John called us out for an issue right here. This circuit, 1, 3, 5, excuse me, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10B is what we would call it. Is tied with 10, 12A, and it's a black and a red and a white in this conduit, and it's shorting out on 10B, right here, the black. When I took the neutral off, there was nothing, and I knew it was a ground on a conduit. And I traced this conduit to here, and there's a box right back here. But I know that these wires are all correct because I had black to black, red to red, white to white, and ground to ground. So the issue started, go ahead, Alicia, just put that panel on, that cover. The issue started upstairs with the complaint that the living room went out. Part of it, they said this outlet was dead. This outlet was dead because the red wire did absolutely nothing. It has a 14.3 new NM cable. There's our breaker again.
What happened? Okay.
Hey, did you turn that breaker off? Yes, I did. Okay.
So she did.
Anyways, that's why the breaker turned off, just similar to that. But so we went ahead and powered this one. They said that when they plugged the couch in, things were dying. Well, that would make sense because the power went to here and the neutral was flickering on that outlet going under the entry.
No, the couch was okay.
Couch is okay.
Comcast, remember the TV?
But we had the entries flickering here when I pulled this plug. And so anyways, we respliced in these two dimmer switches. We got this running and this running. But over here, I've got a hot neutral reverse. And what that means is that the hot is on the neutral and the neutral is on the ungrounded conductor, the black. But there was 3 splices in this wall that were just bundled. So we had to cut that open and add 2 boxes. This outlet's always been dead, and I can't figure that one out yet because it's only got 1 cable going to it. Here's what we found going in the wall. This is all the splicing. Now, to the naked eye, most people wouldn't find that, but when I looked in the box, I saw this red wire cap behind the box through the knockout of the box, and I knew there was splicing going on. I didn't know there was 3 splices. So we got that all repaired by the living room. Then we came upstairs, we thought everything was fine, and the breaker blew again because that circuit then feeds from that garage to the living room up to here. Well, the minute my helper was plugging in the TV, the breaker blew, and I didn't catch it right away. So we came up here and we looked on the end of the cord of the TV, and here's our evidence of it grounding out. So what that means is that now we have a hot wire on the ground, and I knew that because I took a light bulb, which has a load, and I touched Comcast ground on their terminal and realized that the neutral and the hot in here are not hot. In fact, my black is tied to my white somewhere below this, and my ground is now hot up here. But downstairs, my neutral was hot. So instead of keeping it as the ungrounded conductor, your black and your red being your hots, and your neutral being your grounded conductor, and your grounding conductor being your bare copper for the ground, which is your safety wire, that actually, by the time whoever spliced another splice somewhere coming up here, I now have my ground wire grounding my bare copper, the safety wire. I have that hot here. and I use Comcast as a check because they're grounded outside anyways. So it makes sense that the complaint was as soon as the Comcast left, all of a sudden there was something wrong. As if when I got here, I thought, well, maybe they put a long screw and shorted out a wire, and it wasn't that. Because when you short out a wire, that's a conductor cable, and you put a screw in there, you can hit your ground in your hot, but it wasn't that. What we're finding is it's the splicing. Over here, I've got my neutral hot. Actually, my ground. Because the minute I plug in this guy here, and then I take this 3-prong here, my arcing's happening right on this little extension cord. And it's not the cord, because if I plug the TV directly into it, it shorts out too. Mm-hmm. And I don't want that TV to take any more than it has, or it's going to blow up. And thank God the TV didn't go. But yeah, whether I do that outlet over here or this outlet over here, it's shorting out as well as over there. So what that tells me is somewhere below here, I mean, I know in here I've got 3 conductors coming in. I got 1 in there. I got 2 in there. So what that tells me is there's a splice down below that somebody has spaghettied or put in a box, and they've mixed up their wires, or a couple more splices. So here's one thing you guys can also look for when you're doing this trace out. Unfortunately, our resolution was to cap off some of these plugs. In fact, in the bedroom, they can't use a 3-prong cord right now. But yeah, right here we had to blank this guy. And then here was an insight that this place was remodeled, and I strongly doubt it had a permit in any manner. And even if it didn't have a permit, it wasn't a guy that knew what he was doing. But this right here, you can see in here that this used to be a stud, drywall. Now we got another drywall, or another stud and drywall. They just layered on top of layer. The reason why they never reached the wires out here is because it was too short. So once the drywaller comes in here and we pull out our plugs and put our plates on, it should be fine. But yeah, this is my clue that this was remodeled, and the stud was sideways here. But you can see now, stud on top of drywall, on top of stud, on top of drywall. And there's all the drywall broken out with a hammer. My gut is I've got more splicing going on over here because the garage is a little bit further that way past that big mirror downstairs, and I found a red and a black wire in this outlet, but the red wire is actually it's not even hot. It's actually on the same common phase as the black. What I think they did is they took the black and red at some point, put them together, but coming from the panel they took the red and tied it to the ground in the neutral somewhere. So it's now caused a short upstairs in the master bedroom, which this is why no longer in the code we're allowed to go layer upon layer upon layer in a home. And this was built in the mid-70s. So, unfortunately, sorry this video was a little long.
Can you send that to John?
But yeah, so thanks guys.